Hello, everyone. Good evening again, good afternoon, and good morning. You all are welcome to today's meeting. We are going to be discussing some interview updates. A lot of people are aware that most countries, about 75 countries, were banned on the first day of this year. Some ban took effect, and majority of those countries have been experiencing some issues with the visa applications and the kind of notice that are being given to people. You would recall that in our last videos, we discussed 212F and 212Gs and what they were, how they were giving it to people. But there is another current trend that is coming up now that people are not just giving 212F or 212G, they are not giving either of them. They are giving a denial or a refusal letter. Okay? Now, I want to tell you what the reason for those refusal letters are, and I want you to be able to avoid them. So I'm going to state that at the end of this meeting. I'm going to keep it for the end because that's one of the most important thing I'm going to be saying today is giving you guidelines on how to prevent your application, even though you attend the application now, how to be able to prevent it from being refused. Because a lot of people go for the application and then they get their visa refused. I know what refusal means. Refusal means end of the visa application process. If you are not able to get them to correct that, then it means that you're going back to I-140 stage. Get a new employer, file a new petition, and then go from there. All right. So that I don't wish that for anybody that has stayed in this process for this long. Okay. So I really want us to be mindful of that. So for us to start today, I just want to congratulate everybody. Let's celebrate our small wins. Okay, so a lot of people became current recently. Congratulations. A lot of people are seeing movement in the visa bulletin. So if you don't know, visa bulletin is a tool or an instrument that the US government uses to determine who is eligible to enter the US. Every month, a new visa bulletin is issued. And this is based on first come, first serve. So your date of filing your I-140 comes into play in your visa bulletin. So the date that they submitted your application is your priority date. Why they call it priority date is that, it's just like priority, you are going to be prioritized based on that date. Okay. So on that priority date, when you're being given your priority date, the next time you're going to, remember your priority date is when it's time for interview. If it's time for interview and everybody is not current, like there was a time, I think in 2017, 2016, everybody was current for almost 6 months. Like every month, the visa bulletin will come out and it will say current, which means wherever you are, whichever condition, even if you file today and you're able to get your approval out by that day, you can actually approach the embassy for your visa and you will get the visa. So which means everybody was current, everybody was current, and that was good. Someone was appreciating my hairstyle. I'm getting old, so I'm trialing out a lot of hairstyles, so forgive me. All right, so now when they issue those visa bulletins, it determines who is eligible to come to the embassy and who is not eligible. There are three categories of those visa bulletins that I would like to, just talk about. There are three countries. Oh, yeah, let me say the whole world is grouped into three. The first one is the one that they call the rest of the world. The rest of the world is if you don't belong to any of the countries that is singled out, like the country of China is singled out, and then Philippines, and sometimes they add Mexico is also singled out. So they have special preferences for them. Not that it favors them, but because of their previous antecedents, like they have been coming into the country more than every other country. You understand? So the US kind of intentionally delay their own process, intentionally set them on a kind of a delayed mode so that other people can catch up, so that other countries can catch up. You understand? So if we have, for instance, 200,000 visas to be issued in a year, so the people that would come from Philippines might be people who applied in 2015. I'm just giving an instance. While people that will come from the place they call the rest of the world, ROW, you understand, might be people that applied in 2020. You understand? So you are like 5 years difference. But that 5 years is just is an instrument, it's just a tool that they are using to regulate the entry, the flow. All right. So those Chinese and those people from Philippines, they are the most, common. If you come to the US, if you work in an engineering firm, you find majorly Chinese people, Indian people. You understand? If you work in the hospital system, you find Philippines. A lot of Philippines are in the hospital system in the US. So they're trying as much as possible to kind of bring it down. All right, so this is just to give you an idea of those three categories that you see when you open your visa bulletin. But I was so happy, so happy that the visa bulletin moved. A lot of people in my group became current, and I celebrate you all. We have to celebrate our small wins. This is one of the key thing that will let you know that there is light at the end of the tunnel. Why do I say this? A lot of people are so focused on the ban, forgetting the fact that before the ban, our prayer points, one of the things that we were focused on was the bulletin. We waited for this bulletin so patiently and eagerly every month. When it's close to 15th of every month, we start getting impatient because we wanted to know if we will become current or not. You understand? So now that the bulletin that used to be our prayer point is no longer a prayer point, or is now moving in the direction that we want, we have to celebrate it. Okay, so we have to celebrate it. Everybody have to be happy about it. Okay, so I celebrate everyone. Congratulations if you're current in this place and you have received any notification for the embassy interviews or anything. I celebrate you. Congratulations. I'm so happy for you. I'm so happy. It is a good sign, and I like it. I like it because when the ban is lifted, we're not going to worry about bulletin. Okay, at least it's one less headache. You understand? So I'm also hoping that the next bulletins will also continue to move forward, because I know currently there is a little shortage, or if you listen to the news, you will see that New Jersey is going on strike. New York is on strike already. There's a lot of countries, I think California or some other countries, some other states are also tilting towards going on strike as well, because of the welfare of the workers. So, or especially the nurses, I'm talking about the nurses. So there's need for international nurses. There is need for nurses to come in. There's shortage, and some of the people in the house are already pushing this bill for them to create a kind of visa in this ban, in this era, that can allow them to inject about 20,000 nurses, from the rest of the world. So we're hoping that something good will come out. Sometimes when things happen and people start getting panicked, and I come here to encourage you, it's not like I have the US government in my hand, but I have kind of been with the system for so long that I know that it always is a dynamic system. It's always changing. You understand? It's not something that stays the same every time. So if they come out today and say we are banned, don't just shunt to a different situation that will tie you down for the rest, maybe like for 5 years. Some of you that go to, I think, Saudi or Qatar, you go there, you sign a contract that you will never leave for maybe 2 years or 3 years. What if something changes? So I'm not saying it's not good to go. You can go anywhere you want to go, but still make provision in anywhere you're going, that if things changes, you should be able to still come out of it and follow your group, and achieve what you're supposed to achieve. All right, so now let's get into the visa issue. So a lot of people have been getting notices from their companies, from their agencies, asking them to not go for interviews, especially when they have gotten to do their medicals and they have gotten IDs from the embassy. Okay, so there's a way I want you to handle this because I really want you to be safe. I want you. I know that if some of the agencies they have nothing to lose, they are not struggling to get their green cards. Okay, so most of them are good. They would definitely be they would definitely be you know very, very familiar with the process and also try as much as possible to put you people in mind, but not to every extent because this is you, this is your process. You have to own it at some point. So now I'm not saying you should do something wrong, but look, majority of you guys that have gotten interview dates and you have been trying to unschedule just to follow what your agency said, and it's not working. Okay, it's not working, which means you're unable to get a response. You send an email to the embassy and they don't respond to say, hey, we are acknowledging it. So if you don't understand what I'm saying, so for every other types of visa that you apply for with the embassy, any consulate in Africa, okay, I think everywhere in the world, you cannot, for the immigrant visa, you cannot schedule your interview by yourself. The embassy gives you a date. That's why we call it interview date issuance. They give you that date and you have to come on that date. So they are not actually asking you, are you going to be available? If you're not available, you either miss the program or miss the date, or you find a way to communicate to them that you will not be available and they will put you out entirely. They're going to remove you from that list of people coming for interview. And then if by next month, number one, they're going to look at the visa bulletin. If by next month you are still current, they will now say, okay, as we are inviting the people for next month, we will include you. Or unless you have given a standing order, do not invite me until I say so. Then they can put your file away indefinitely until you come back to them and say, I'm now ready to come to the US. I'm now ready to even conclude my process. All right, so this is just a little, if you're not following me, just let me know in the comment section so I can just kind of backtrack and then, just take it from there. All right, so this is just a little information. So majority of the people that I've spoken to are unable to get their interviews rescheduled. If this is your situation, I would like to hear on the comment section. If this is something that you've been experiencing, you send an email to the embassy and they are not responding, I would like to hear on the comment section. I would like you to, tell me about it. And then I would also tell you how I think you should go about the visa interview dates. Okay. So do we have people like that? Do we have people who have been able to, go for the embassy interview, or they have gotten a date and trying to reschedule and it's not working? Or if you have rescheduled and it worked for you, I would like to hear if you can use the microphone, raise your hand, I'll give you the microphone and you can speak to that. All right. But if we don't have anybody like that, then we will just continue. All right. So next is how do you handle such situations? So there's always going to be something they call document review. Document review is going to be done sometimes 3 days, sometimes 4 days before your interview date. Okay. This is a very smart opportunity for you to go to the embassy to review your document, but not only to review your document, to also have the opportunity to state that you will not be attending the interview. So if you go for your document review, for instance, and you go there and you say, hey, I've been trying to reach out to the embassy. I sent emails and nobody is responding to me. I wanted to just put a word to someone that is responsible for rescheduling interviews that I was told by my agency that due to the ban, I should not attend interview at this time. I would love to attend at another time. Whenever that I give the embassy, maybe another notice like this for them to continue my application or for them to invite me for the interview. All right. That way your process is kept somewhere. At least, that way that you communicated this to someone who is taking action about it. Okay. So I felt like this is a smart way to kind of go around it instead of just waiting and waiting and waiting endlessly. I would like you to use that opportunity that you have, at the embassy to make them know, make them aware that you are not going to be attending. Do we all understand? Are we all getting the point? Okay. A few people have done it this way and they've been able to get results. So I just wanted to make sure that everybody is on the same page. Okay. All right. So now let's proceed a little further to one of the other things that I wanted to say today. Number one, we have on the flyer, we stated that we're going to be discussing visa interview updates and current trends. So currently I'm on current trends. The current trend is that some of the consular officers, especially across Africa, they are finding ways to not issue the visa and to not give you the 212GF or 212G or 212F. Okay, so this is something I've noticed with about 3 people. Okay, they went to the embassy and they were asked all the questions, everything checked out. They were asked to provide their license that they will be using to work, your nursing license in the US. I've never had people. What I used to hear people request is NCLEX pass letter. Because for the fact that you've passed NCLEX, you can endorse your license anywhere in the US and work there. Okay, but this very particular set of consular officers are requesting for license, and when you give them your license, for instance, most of my candidates are either registered in New Mexico or registered in Texas. When they give their license in Texas and they're going to work in Oklahoma, for instance, or they're going to work in Ohio, or they're going to work in Illinois, and they don't have Illinois Board of Nursing license, it becomes a problem. And based on that, their visas are not just put on pending, but refused. So this is very, very, very important information I'm bringing to you today. I want you to note this. I'll say this now. I'll say it before we end. If you are going for embassy interview and maybe your agency asks you to go, if you're going and your state of primary assignment is not, mark my word, it's not your state of licensure, please start your endorsement process, get your license, make sure you have the license of the state that you're going to work in. This is not, the agency will not tell you this because maybe some of them may not have had this encounter. All right. Make sure you get your license in the states that you're going to be working in. It didn't happen like this during our own time. I never had the license of Virginia before I came to the US. I did my interview. Nobody asked me about license. They only asked me my NCLEX pass letter, and I was able to provide that in the packet that I submitted to them. Okay. So, and they have your CGFNS visa screen, visa screen is comprised of your NCLEX and your IELTS, your English proficiency, and then your NCLEX to show that you have passed clinically, you can work as a nurse, and then English proficiency showing that you can communicate, you understand, in English to anybody in the US. So now they're asking for individual state licensures, and based on that, they are denying the visa. Is a painful, very painful tragedy that I wouldn't want anybody else to go into. So this is a take home today. If you or anyone that you know is attending the visa interview, please kindly tell them that they should make sure that they have the primary state of assignment licensure before they go. All right. Um, yeah, so someone said boss refused as in stamped denied, like for non-immigrants. That's really scary. Yes, it's not really stamped denied, it is stamp refused. It's not really like they stamped their passport, they gave them a letter, and that letter shows that they have been refused the visa. Okay, so I'm getting more comments. Someone said in North Alabama, we can do endorsement without Social Security. Yeah, okay, you cannot do endorsement without Social Security. Is that what you're saying? Well, sometimes there is a way to go around the Social Security one. If you are applying from out of state, okay, you can do without Social Security. That's fine. You can do endorsement actually in most states without Social Security. You understand? Especially some of the states that do not require social security, you can actually do an endorsement. And if I were some agencies that would maybe listen to this video or get a hold of this information in some way, the best thing is just to an assignment in the place that you have licensure. You understand? At least so that this could be avoided, because a lot of people are going to fall into this trap. If it becomes a thing, if this becomes a thing, means a lot of people would fall into the trap. And it's just so painful that you're going to wait this long and go through this process. And at the end of the day, this becomes an issue for you. You understand? So I wouldn't want anybody to fall into this. I want you guys to be mindful of it. I want you guys to try as much as possible to avoid it. So someone said, for a nurse in USA on H-1B visa, do you follow the same visa bulletin with those in Africa? A colleague told me there is another visa bulletin I should be monitoring. Secondly, based on your experience, when the nurse becomes current while still on H-1B, are we actually going to US Embassy to appear before the consulate, or we just send documents? So it happens in two ways. Let me answer the second question. Most times they would ask for your document, and if they're okay with your document, they will not invite you, they will issue your green card. I've seen it happen before. I've seen a lot of people that are here that did not go for interview. They give them their green card. I've also seen people they also invited. And people I've seen that they invited are more on the people on spousal visa. People that are married, they want to see features, they want to ask questions, and the rest of them. Then your first question about H-1B visa. So once you're here on H-1B, you have been here on H-1B. You don't even need to monitor the visa bulletin. But if you still on H-1B and also you filed a concurrent EB3 application, which means that you still need to be monitoring that bulletin. And the bulletin that you're monitoring is the bulletin of your originating country or your filing country. So if you're a Nigerian, you should be looking out for the rest of the world in the visa bulletin. All right. So I think I answered your question. If I didn't, just ask me more clarifying question and I would give you more insight. So someone say, can you record this message so that we can replay? I think I am doing that. If I am not, yeah, I think I'm doing it. Okay. All right. So now, and I have another person, can you do endorsement without? Yes, you can do endorsement in some states without social security number. Okay, what they will need, majority of the states, if you want to become a um, um, compact license holder, that's when they will need your driver's license, your proof of address, and your social security number. But if you're just getting a single state license, so when you're doing the endorsement in those states, go for the single state license. Okay, if you're doing the single state license, you do not need all those details. You would just need to do your endorsement as a single state license holder, and that's it. Okay, so someone else is okay. It depends on the requirement of the state as well. Yes, it also depends on the requirement of the state. Like Pennsylvania, you can successfully endorse with an SSN waiver. So most people would also, in the spot that they provide for you to put your SSN, they put 000 times how many number the SSN is, which means you do not have SSN. Okay, a lot of people fill out the applications like that. That will let you pass that stage of the application form. Okay, if it comes out and says provide your SSN number, you just need to input 9 zeros on there. So 9 zeros gives you an access. You just proceed, and then whenever it to be someone is going to go through it, or they will know, okay, this person is not actually in the US, and they could process you based on that, or they will ask you more questions at that point, and based on your information they would either give you your license or not. But please, this is very, very important. I don't want anybody crying. I don't want anybody being in a very dear situation, or just going to the embassy and not coming out with the required result. People come out and celebrate 1, 2G, or 212F now. People come out and celebrate it like, oh, yeah, I got it. It was successful. Someone came to me last week and said, boss, I went for the interview and it was successful. And my antennas were up. I'm like, yeah, they've started giving visa. I said, how did it go? What happened? Which magic did you do? I said, yeah, it was successful. They gave me 212G. I was like, this is not success now, but at least now that they are now giving refusal, I'm now seeing that that lady was right. It's actually successful for you to go and get what others are getting. Don't go there and get something strange that nobody has not gotten in the time past. So it has happened to three people now. We've written to the embassy to kind of educate them that once you have a license, you can work anywhere in the US, and they shouldn't, based on that license, individual state licensure, they shouldn't base it on that to deny these ladies what is it called, visa. But it's also not only to her. There's other people that are, that are in that category, and they've been asking their attorney to reply the embassy so that they don't have to go back and start the whole process afresh. I don't know how that is going to pan out, but I know that most times when a decision is made, it's difficult for them to rescind that decision. And I just hope that they do maybe do something different in this case. All right. So if you have been in that situation, or if you're going for the embassy, please, I would like you to please make sure that your primary state of assignment, if you're going to work in New Mexico, have a New Mexico license. If you're going to work in anywhere, have that state. Tell your agency now. If they find you a job, please tell your agency, I need to start doing my license and endorsement. They might fight it then because they are going to pay for it. And most agencies do not want to make any commitments financially when it comes to countries that are banned. Some of you are already seeing some agencies are not even employing or hiring people from the banned country. Show me your friend in difficult times. That's what you know. When you are in difficulty, that's when you know your true friend. So if they are saying no to you at this point, when you need them, when they need you, they come to, just come like bee coming to the honeycomb. Just know that it is all business. It's not a relationship like that. So it's business, so to say. So I would like you guys to make sure that you find out about this information that I'm giving you. Make sure that your agency files for the not really file, but helps you to get your license endorsed in the state that you're going to be working in before you go for the interview. So let's have a quick chat. Adewale, go ahead with your question. Tell us where you're joining us from, and give us your location and your name, and then go ahead with your question or contribution.
Good evening, boss.
Evening.
Good evening. Yeah, thanks for the education, what you are putting us through. This is a golden opportunity. We appreciate you. I'm calling from Lagos, Nigeria. I just want to make inquiry. Like a friend of mine is a New York State board licensed, but he got the agency got job for her in New Jersey, and the license is about to expire. So, like yesterday, we're discussing that how to. She was discussing with me that she needs to renew New York. But with the information that you are giving now, instead of doing renewal for New York State Board, I think how can she do it now that she will have to do the endorsement for the New Jersey because it's New York State Board that she has. So I just want a to throw more light on that because the New York State Board will be expiring very soon, and we were like talking, planning on how to make a renewal. So I'm just thinking instead of doing a renewal, can she do direct that New Jersey licensure? I mean endorsement sort of. I just need a clarification so that we'll know how to go about it. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much. So for you to actually do an endorsement, your license needs to be active. So if your license is not active in New York, she might not be able to do that endorsement. So, but the best thing to do is now that it's still active, according to what I heard, it has not expired yet. So go ahead and apply for New Jersey endorsements, okay, while it is still active. But if it has expired, then you have to renew New York and go ahead and renew New Jersey. I don't know if that makes
Thank you.
sense. Okay.
Thank you
All
very
right.
much.
Thank you. All right. So now, do we have any other question? Do we have any other person that have a question to this regard? This is one of the one-time opportunity. I canceled our meeting. We're supposed to have a guest today. I canceled it. I'm like, I don't want anybody to kind of not understand what I'm here to say, because this is a whole 3 or 4 years of somebody's life that is going to reset. So I don't want that to happen. So everybody should get this. Get this. If you are getting a job in a state that is not where you got your license from, please do your endorsement before you go for the embassy. This is something that is coming up from people that they go for the embassy and they're asking them to present the license of a state. Maybe if you are working in Texas, where's your Texas license? And you say, I have not got, and the way you answer them again is the problem. The way you answer them is the problem. I want to bring it to your notice that there's no question that shouldn't go with full detail when you're with a consular officer. Give them all the details that they require, because when they ask a question, it's an indication that there is a problem. If they needed, if they had answers to everything that they want, they wouldn't ask any question. Okay, so once they ask a question, is an indication of a problem. So provide answers to the best of your knowledge and don't hoard any information. So if I were to be the person in front of a consular officer and the consular officer tells me, where is your Virginia license? First of all, I'm gonna tell the consular officer that, number one, I am a US RN license holder, so which means I can work anywhere in the US. Okay, that's the way to present it. Number two, for the individual state licenses, whenever I arrive the US, and you can put it on social security number. Whenever I arrive the US and get a social security number, that's when I can apply to get that. And that way, everybody is now okay, it could be a possibility that you need your social security for you to apply for that. I'm just telling you guys here that majority of the board of nursing will let you do your endorsement without a social security number. All right. But this is something you can present before the consular and tell them, see, I am going to the US. I'm a US RN, which means I'm a registered nurse to work anywhere in the US, in Canada, and in Australia. That is what you have. Your license that you have is so powerful. Your NCLEX license is very, very powerful. Don't go there and keep quiet. You passed that exam. Nobody wrote it for you. It was your victory. Okay? So you have to make sure that everybody knows the potentials that you carry. You understand? You have that license. You can work anywhere in the US. You can work in Canada. You can work in Australia. All you need to do is an endorsement when you get into those countries and have the required identifications or required social security number. Okay, so this is one thing that you can present. If it comes, like some of you that have interview for next week, next 2 weeks, you might not be able to finish all the endorsement process, but let your mouth be sharp. Do not just keep quiet. Okay, do not keep quiet. Please, please, when you get there, open your mouth and speak. Don't just keep quiet when they are indicating that, oh, we need this, or oh, there is a problem. Please kindly provide clear answers to their questions. It is very, very important. Okay, it is very, very, very important. So I'm asking, number one, if you are in that category and you're going very soon, make sure you are ready for this question, because something that is happening now and they might pop that question at you. If they do, be ready with the answer and let your answer be sufficient for them, because there's an answer you give a person, the person says okay, and then which means the person has gotten the idea that you have. All right, then the next thing is, a lot of you have passed NCLEX but have not been filed for by any agency. I saw also there's an agency that was mentioned. I don't want to mention their name because I don't want to run their business down. But it was mentioned on the comment section that the people that are with them for more than 4 years now, if I'm not mistaken, either 4 years or 3 years, these people have not filed a petition for their nurses. So what they did was they brought nurses that haven't passed NCLEX, they put them in a house, and then they gave them food, they gave them, I think, money, and then they also, taught them on how to pass the NCLEX. Majority of them wrote the NCLEX and passed, okay? And ever since then, nothing has happened in their process. And these people have been asking for, a way out. Okay, so I've actually tried to come in and wade into the situation in my own little capacity, but I noticed that there is still like small hitches on the communication. Like I would connect them to an immigration lawyer and connect the company to an immigration lawyer, and all of a sudden everything stops, and I do not know how to go ahead with such situation anymore. Okay, but I believe that there's something that is called independence, and everybody has that independence. I believe that if you feel that this company has kept you for 3 years post NCLEX without any like, it's not like you have a priority date. You have not really like gone done anything. I would say, to me, you have a very genuine reason to consult them first and say, is it okay for us to find our way to the US and find a way to pay you? Because I know they have actually spent on you guys. This money, this is business, they've spent on you. So find a way to discuss with them and see if it's a possibility for you to actually go ahead, come to the US with other companies that are ready to file, and then find a way to settle them afterwards. If that is a conversation you can strike with them, I think they might be willing to, because even their money is also hanging. They are not getting the money, return on investments that they made. They're not getting it back. So if you are able to strike such conversations and it works out, then you guys can come back and we'll try and approach some agencies and explain to them so that they can prioritize you guys. I think it's about 8 nurses that are in that category or more. But someone asked that question on the comment section. That's why I'm mentioning it. So you can start with that conversation with whoever that is in charge and see if it works out. All right. So, boss, someone is asking, boss, please, do they use the document qualified date or PD to issue interview date? So it's both. It's both, because some people get their PD, and then when it's time for them to submit maybe evidences or fill out their DS-260 form, most of them do not fill out those forms. They just wait and waste times. So it's both. You have to be documentarily qualified. You have to have a good priority date that aligns you to be able to get a date at a certain time. So normally, for you to even come to the embassy, you need your priority date. But documentarily qualified DQ is to show that you have also submitted all the necessary documents that is needed for that embassy to hold. Because this document, let me just explain. So the PD is from USCIS here in the US. You understand? Documentarily qualified is from the consular officer in your country. You understand? So when they say you're documentarily qualified, they're asking the embassy in your home country is actually issuing that notice to you. Okay, so that you're documentarily qualified to come to the embassy. All right, so just understand it that way and make sure that both of them are aligned properly. All right, so next question says, thank you for all your sacrifice to ensure that we get updates from time to time. Please, what is the difference between the letter 212GF and the recent refusal 212F and people are getting? Okay, and the recent refused letter people are getting, because 212F have refused on it. Okay, so refused letter is not 212F. This one is different. Okay, it's different in the sense that 212F is when they have issues with, maybe your I-140 was withdrew by your filing company. Maybe your filing company said, okay, majority of you have been asking for recapture. Maybe your hospital all of a sudden said, we are no longer interested, and the hospital dropped you. If your hospital drops you, what it means is that you have to file another company or another hospital that would file for you and recapture your priority date so that you can continue with your priority date. But most times it doesn't work that way. And when you approach the embassy and the embassy have that notice that your hospital has dropped you, you are likely to get this 212F, sorry. All right, you are likely to get it. But this one I'm talking about is not even the F. This one I'm talking about is refused. Is not 212 anything. Is refused. Your visa has been refused I think the way it was structured is that your visa, let me just read it out so that all of you, I will not be mistaken. All right. So it says something like your visa has been refused because of you did not provide all the evidence that is required. Okay. So and that's really, really, really crazy. I don't know how else to I don't know how else to say that, but it was something that was not it shouldn't be. So your visa was refused because you did not provide all the required evidence. So that's how it sounded. Your visa was refused because you did not provide all the required evidence. So I just want us to be mindful of that, try as much as possible to avoid it by providing all the required evidence that they need. All right. Okay, so this is the update that I have. Can someone who is current now, PD September, Nigeria, transfer case to another country while waiting for the ban to be lifted? It's very, very possible. Every process within the application is still going as it's supposed to. Yeah, hopefully. And the only problem is that you will not be able to get a visa. So you can proceed from I-140 to DQ to interview dates to everything. But the only thing is that if you interview, you're not going to get a visa. So that's the situation of the interview that people are doing right now. So please, can you help list required documents for interview? I have done this before. If you can go to my YouTube, that's a whole new lecture. But if you go to my YouTube link, if you go to my YouTube channel, you will see the interview skills. You will see all the documents. I listed them there. So if you can just go there, you will be able to watch. And there's more information, more than just the documents. There are so many other things that I said because I prepared for that very particular meeting. So if you can go there and get all the information on that, you would be better off than me giving you a half-baked information right now because that was not the topic of today. All right. So yeah, so another one is someone just saying thank you for your explanation. All right, so that's where we are going to end for today. I didn't want to take everybody's time so much today, but this information is very important. It is very necessary. It is very, very important that you find out if you have those required things. If you have any question, I will give like 2 minutes. We can take questions from anybody, and then if there's no question, we can call it a day. We have one question. Someone is asking, thank you, Boss D, for speaking on that issue. However, the candidates have tried getting their attention and requesting for a meeting, but the agencies are not responding and no action to taken to file for candidates for 4 years now. Okay, the agencies insist that for the candidate to receive a release letter, they need to pay the exact amount they signed for in the entire process in the contract. Is there any other advice? I don't know, but somehow I'm feeling like very dark man will help. I just felt like that when I was reading this because this is a litigative issue. It's not, it's something that you have to first of all appeal to their conscience so that it doesn't look like you are not sensitive, you are not considerate of the situation. You understand? The amount you signed is not the amount they spend on you. The amount they spent on you might be a fraction, a very, very small fraction from the amount that you signed. I don't know if you'll be open to tell us the amount in the comment section because it might be very, very outrageous. I'm thinking that amount might be close to $25,000. Who has $25,000 in Africa? You would open a business. Oh, $50,000. So this lady is saying $50,000. How are you going to get $50,000 in Nigeria at this point for one candidate who is a registered nurse that is earning 30, 40, 50, 100,000 naira in a primary health center or a small private hospital? It's not possible. But there could be a way. There could be a way that these nurses can reach an agreement that if the amount is even too much, but if it's possible, I feel like speaking out on this, honestly. If it's possible for them to say a reasonable amount, um, there's a big company in the US. that was sued recently. They were sued and they paid over $3 million in lawsuits. They were sued by their candidates. Okay, so I'm not here to spread rumors. I'm not here to encourage anybody to sue any company, but I just feel like you should be able to persist and tell them this 50,000. Sometimes you sign something. It's true. Those things you sign is bounding. It's bounding on you. It's binding on you. But somehow most people sign under duress because a lot of people do not read everything that they sign. And I'm changing this topic again to read carefully, read every details, even if you don't understand. I've asked so many of you, if you see a new company springing up, spreading contracts, don't just receive it and sign. Send it to me. Let's review it together. You understand? Because you need somebody who understand these terms to kind of review this with you and tell you, okay, this is not a good contract for you. We've had situations in the past where some terms were amended for some people that spoke up in a contract. In a contract, they are giving other people they're accepting. They come to us and say, no, 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 we can't accept that. Tell them to change the hour pay, your pay per hour. This is too small. And then they go and they negotiate and they give them an increase in their hour. So it's all about you negotiating. Sometimes like this 50K, if you had, because most of the agencies, what will happen is if you start, because this is a bridge fee, 50,000 bridge fee. So if you start dragging bridge fee with them before you come out, their mind will go to the fact that you're going to be a troublesome nurse for them when you come to the US. They will see that you will bridge. The way you're negotiating your bridge fee suggests that if you have already lost the intention of bridging. Okay, so it's like an abomination. It's not something that people always are happy to address in their contract, both on both sides. The candidate is not willing to bring it up because you are in your happy mood and you're feeling like, oh, I'm not going to bridge. This is a very good opportunity. I just want to go ahead with this. And then the company is also on their own. They are saying, if she mentions this thing, that means she has the mindset of bridging and will just take her out of the equation and file for others. Get that. So I feel the pain. I feel like the situation, you're very it's tight situation when you're signing some of these documents, but also know that there is always options. There is always alternatives. It's not just one agency that solves everybody's problem. There are many, many agencies that if this one does not work, you can go to another one and then have your process done with them. Okay, so that's where the communication would have started from that 50K. It's not possible. You're talking about almost 75 million naira. It's not possible for someone to have that and then give it out to somebody before even coming out. So I would still insist that you would continue to pressure, continue to ask them for a way to resolve that without having to pay that money. Not that money will not be paid, but let that money be paid when you come over here because you don't have that money. I don't know. You don't have it. All right. So let's see. And then I will also see how I can come in again and find out because I don't know if this person that is writing on the comment section knows that I have actually come into this situation before. I've tried to resolve it, a couple of times, but I will see how I can come in and address that. Okay. All right. Then someone is saying, good morning, Boss D. I just lost job and my PD is November 23 and case complete, license endorsed. What will I do? Find another job. Think you would, first of all, the first thing to do with the first most important thing to do is to work with your agency to find another job. Okay. If your agency is now unable to find you a job, that's when you now tilt towards finding another agency to recapture your priority date and find you a job. Okay, that's the first thing to do, Agnes. And I'm sorry about that. And that is something that if the ban continues, I'll see it happening more. So you guys should brace up. Okay. I don't hope that ban should continue, but if it continues, most of these hospitals, they were promised a faster processing for you guys. So when they wait and wait and wait and they don't see anybody, they will just withdraw. They will just say, okay, let's withdraw from this. Because why they have to withdraw is that the resources they are banking on to commit to hiring you guys, they will just pull it and hire from somewhere else within the US or within other countries that are not banned. So the opportunity is, if it comes to you, be proactive in getting another agency. Don't just wait and relax. Once it happens, don't relax. Just try as much as possible to work with your agency first, because they would be the best in the best position to find you a job and refile and recapture your priority date. If not, then you have to find another company. All right, just take them to court, but read your contract very well with your lawyer. Yeah, exactly. So that's what I'm saying. I was feeling like this is something that needs to be addressed by someone older and bigger. Yeah, I mean older in the law, in law. And I don't know if Nigeria has like health recruitment litigative lawyers or attorney, people who will understand the health terminologies, both of the one in the US and the one in Nigeria, and be able to, pursue the case. But before you pursue the case, law court cases is not easy, it's not cheap. You understand? Before you get a very renowned lawyer, a son that will do this for you, um, you're talking about millions as well. So why not just continue to ask these people for a good term for you to abide by, and an opportunity for you to come out first before you continue the process. Okay, I think that should be the thing that we should focus on. Yeah, so what is the least one should I expect per hour? There's no list. It's based on your state. Majority of the states have their expected living wage. So nobody will pay you anything less than that, because it will be a crime. Nobody will pay you less than. But majority of the people ask for more, from their agency, and that is more on the side of the discretion of the agency. If they want, they will give you. If they don't want, they will not. But majority of the states will give you their living expenses. You don't go below that. It's like a minimum wage. You don't go below that. So good evening, boss. And you asked a lady to assist me with Georgia Board of Nursing. She contacted me the first time, promised to get back, and I haven't heard back again. Can you help me and reach out to her? Yes, for sure. Send me your number, and then I also will put everybody will be notified. I'll put you in a WhatsApp, in just a small mini group. I'll put her there, and then I also oversee your process with the Georgia Board. Okay. So thank you, everyone. And I think if we don't have any other questions, we'll bring the meeting to a close. And I will see you guys next week with one of my guests again. We saw the flyer already. We're supposed to have a guest for this meeting, but we moved it to the 6th of March. But we would have another guest for next week. So if you don't have any other question, okay, one more question came in. This one said, good evening. If someone whose job offer was terminated, he joined another agency who secured another job for him and filed I-140 recapture, but approval from USCIS not yet out. He is now current. If he's being invited for interview, can he attend? You might attend, but you might get that 212F, you understand? But my hope is that you would get your approval before you attend. There is something that the agency can do. They can do a premium process. Once you are being invited for interview, they would expedite your I-140. They will do a premium for you, and within 15 days, they will get a response, and you can go for your embassy. Okay. Yes. So, Lovette, I believe you should have my number. So just reach out to me so we can, because once I end this meeting, I cannot access your number anymore. Okay. So just reach out to me. Please Can I be added to pre-arrival group? I am now current. Yes, you can. You can be added to pre-arrival group. And if you are here and you have not written your NCLEX, please, we have posted a lot of flyers for our NCLEX programs. I would like you to be part of it. We have the virtual class, we have the WhatsApp class. Anyone that suits your learning pattern, you can join. And they are very, very affordable. I don't know if there's anybody doing classes for 6,000 naira in Nigeria, but we are doing it. It's not our source of livelihood. We are just doing this as a give back to our community, and we want you to take part in it. All right. So join us in our virtual class. Join us in our NCLEX content review class, and also we have a group that we call the mentorship group. The mentorship group is for people who are about to come to the US. If you are documentarily qualified, you can go to that EPG, that's an exclusive pre-arrival group, and indicate your interest to join the mentorship group, and we'll add you. We meet every Saturday. Like tomorrow, we're going to meet. We discuss very interesting topics ranging from driving in the snow, buying a car, buying your first house in the US, and preparing how to manage the credit system of the US. There's a lot that you're going to get from it. So I will encourage you to join that mentorship group when you're qualified for it. Okay, and then the next thing I wanted to mention is if you are also interested in endorsing your license in any of the provinces in Canada, we can help you with that, all that process, with all the payments, all the things that needs to be done. We have a group right now for people that want to do the Canadian process. You can reach out to the number that I'm going to drop if you want to join that group. You'll be added to the group, and then there is where we posted the link on how to do the process. A lot of people have keyed into it already. They have started doing it. We have been paying a lot of money for processing of Canadian endorsements. Oh, so if you are interested in that, I'm not so much pushy about it, because something in my mind tells me somehow we're going to get back on track with the US process. But if you want to go to Canada and that's your destination, you really made up your mind you want to go, we can help you with all the payments. We can help you with all the process. We know what to do. I will help you with it. We will work with you to do it, because there's a part of that process that only you can do. When it comes to job hunting, I'm not promising anybody I have a job for them in Canada. It's a very, very rigorous process. And I've invited somebody from Canada, and she came here and told you guys how she did her own process herself. So it's something that you can do yourself. But if you feel like some of the payment, like when she was doing her payment, I made her payments. So if you feel like you cannot make payments from where you are, we can come in at that point, help you to make your payments, and then help you to kind of overcome some hurdles that might be there that you might not be able to overcome from your home country. We are there to help you overcome it. Like if you want to do your criminal background checks and all that, we'll help to facilitate that. Okay, but when it comes to finding a job, you have to be very proactive. You have to be on their website every time looking for job. I will not be able to do it. My specialist will not be able to do it. But I believe that you can do it because other people have been doing it. Okay, that's the one of the most rigorous process in this is finding that job. But are we going to be able to get you endorsed? Yes. Are there jobs? Yes. Are there people moving? Yes. I told you two of my instructors, one of my instructors and one of my nurses, they traveled to Canada recently. In fact, one of the nurses that traveled to Canada says she will be coming on this program again to come and educate you guys. She's traveled recently. It's not something that happened age like years ago. She traveled recently, so she'll be coming here to educate us on how her process went and how she was able to do it. So I employ you, if that is your intention, just let us know. Contact this number. You have to contact this number so that we can be added to the group. It's on WhatsApp. Contact that number on WhatsApp and you'll be added to the group. On that note, we are going to bring the meeting to a close. I'll see you guys next week, Friday, with another edition of Clinical and Cultural Adaptation to the US. All right. Thank you and God bless you all. Bye.